Hey, what's happening, YouTube? Welcome to the spot. This is behind the scenes, quick introductory as we in the studio getting the lab together. As y'all can see, I got somebody to introduce y'all to. It's the studio assistant. It's Miss Bella. Miss Bella was just saying, "Come on, Daddy, grab me. It's time to go chill." So Miss Bella is a Chorky. She is a Chihuahua Yorkie. And little Miss Bella is a super intelligent little lady that's very, very active. She just turned 2 years old on October the 5th. And Miss Bella been with us since she has been 4 months old. Miss Bella was a gift to me and to my lady. So Miss Bella basically was going to be taken to the pound. And I was on a conference call with a former employer and basically received an email from one of my colleagues stating, if they knew anybody that could find a good home for her. And right away, we previously had been discussing, getting a second pet for our Yorkie named Cece. She's a full Yorkie. She's 11 years old now, and she's a diva. So basically, an hour later, I had Miss Bella in the studio with me. So she's my girlie. She's my studio assistant, my production assistant. She works for Love and Treats. Ain't that right, lady? And, we hang out. She's playful. I'll include some clips on some other segments where I'm playing like different games with her. She loves to play fetch. She loves to chase toys. She's goal oriented. But all in all, this is behind the scenes. We're in the studio. It's November the 1st. It's close to 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard. So it's like 10:53. So I was about to wrap it up. I was looking at a previously recorded video of another test, some different angles, some different overlays like the one you're seeing right here. Just working on those concepts, right? Like, the administration of this stuff is kind of like, it could be daunting, but I'm gonna make it fun, especially with my production assistants and a bunch of new AI tools. So with AI, and I'm a nerd, so my day job is basically engineer, technology engineer. So I've done a lot of different things, and over the time of the channel, there's going to be a lot of segments. There's going to be a nerd segment where I show you guys how I custom built all of my machines in here, and there's like 5 in this room, and there's another 4 spread out throughout the whole area that I have. So the spot is just really, it's a room that was dedicated to a home theater when you build homes. And I decided to, just leave it open so it could be a project for me and more or less a happy place, a therapy room. So as you see below, picture is, it's an item that basically, it's incredible, right? Many of you guys that could potentially watch have access or worked on, SSL consoles, the big form factors, maybe some G's in your careers or whatever. But I never got that opportunity. I followed the artist path for a little bit, so I'm gonna talk about some of that stuff during the whole journey. But more or less, this channel is just to take you guys through my journey and my road to my EP, and this thing right here. And I'm gonna have my little mixing assistant, right? So this device right here is incredible, along with one of the most fascinating compressors I've ever seen. And I'm gonna go through, show you guys some of the gear, show you some of how I wired my hybrid playground. And basically, at a core of the SaXx Spot is typically Saturday mornings. I typically come down here for a creative session, and I just follow what my internal gut tell me. Rhythms in my head, things I've seen, people I've encountered. Just everyday life of things we create, right? So for me, I just go into a mode. I pull up various tools, various creative tools, and just go to town, right? So initially, the SaXx Spot is really just going to be that. It's going to be a fly on the wall approach because I have the area behind me here. You all right, baby? The area behind me right here is really the spot in the lab studio where I just break away from all this gear and go and play my saxophone, right? But as we get over and I show you some stuff with the actual spot over here, it still got more gear, right, for me to record. So initially, the Big Six was a part of, me being able to have this thing be kind of like modular and mobile, where I can move it all around the whole studio floor. And that's what I've created. So it's on wheels, on casters, and I just put a 500 series rack at the bottom, and I'm gonna show all you guys that. And the way I wired some of the bottom in this particular rack is where I have access to all the input and outputs down here from, XLR panel. I even have, 4 interfaces for outputs where I can, creatively route different outputs throughout different segments of the studio. So basically my creative space, again, is it's really a 12 by 13 space that was supposed to be a home theater, but I left it totally, unfinished. And the rest of the home was finished in 2013. And I've been down here conceptualized, investing in various pieces of equipment, and just taking the whole journey to, being an engineer, being a recording engineer for myself, right? My father said a few key things to me in my life that made me really think about the trajectory of what I was going to do and decisions and career and revenue streams. He asked me questions when I was 16 and leading to some of my biggest moments in the local DMV genre of music that we call go-go music. But I had a rare opportunity to play in a big concert with the Godfather of Go-Go. So first and foremost, let me thank everyone for organically subscribing to the channel, to DMV SaXx TV. And I know that you guys stopped by because you guys wanted to see performances from my Godfather, Chuck Brown. And, that performance that you guys have, showed your undying love for, with all the beautiful comments and all the rest in pieces for us missing him. I really appreciate everyone for that. I can't thank you enough for that. There's stories I'm going to tell you about, him, my encounters with him, the first time I met him, me hanging out with his son, Charlie, rest in peace, Charlie. And my younger days, just running around the DMV trying to figure out what I'm going to do in this thing called music. So before we end this quick segment and I get Bella to bed because she's ready to go to bed, and we're going to hang out a little bit and go to bed and play a little bit. But shout out to my teenage band, the legendary Class Band show. So this group, I'm going to have a whole segment on Class Band itself. This is going to be a segment that's really near and dear to my heart. So when I get to Class Band segment and do the podcast for Class Band, there's going to be things that took me years to even share. I lost some of my brothers in the group. So rest in peace to all of the fallen Class Band soldiers. And shout out to everybody that still see me in the streets today and say, hey, yo, SaXx, I just wanted to, say what's up. And, you guys, man, back in the day, you guys were, X, Y, Z, and then turn it back to AA. So, I appreciate all you guys for that. You guys keep me motivated. I know I haven't been out live, right? So, even some of those things, I'm about to engage live again for, a project or two, to ensure these legs can still move. And that name that I was given so many years ago, I can still hold up to it on stage. But as I convert and I get older and older and older, and I convert into studio mode, into tech mode, one of my goals for personal is to finish my EP. And now that I'm in the position from the years of investment where I can have my hybrid studio and come here and create, mix, and release it all in the same day. I'm fascinated with that ability. So we're going to work on those things, and I'm not going to, long drawn out this particular segment because it's just a quick talking head just to show you guys an overlay. I wanted to share something too with you guys before I leave, and maybe, you guys leave some comments. But again, thank you for everyone that subscribed to DMV SaXx TV. Organically, you guys gave me 4,000 subscribers alone, just loving the music from my Godfather. So it is my responsibility to help bring my story, my journey, and some of my friends along so they can actually tell you what they experienced. And then they can highlight some of their shows. And then you guys can continue to take a journey into what we call this wonderful DMV world of music we call go-go, right? So also shout out to all of you guys out there still, doing your thing. Shout out to all the legendary bands out there from my era that's still doing it. You know who you are. Um, I have shout out segments for you guys, but it's heartwarming for me to look at Nucci. Shout out to Nucci. I love what you're doing, bro. I've never met you, but I plan to meet you one day. And me catching up with some of the best in this area, and then some guests, and the segment with Snoop, and it just shout out to all of you who support the local music. And we had a hard time, staying in mainstream. And there's a big story that I want to tell about the early days of organic rap from New York. Before it was dubbed hip hop, Salt Pepper, Biz Markie, you know, Big Daddy Kane, all those guys that used to frequent DC, used to watch us play live. And there's one real special event that I want to share with you guys that many people don't know about, but the local people do, is our live performance opening up for New Edition when they was on their first run with the Candy Girl and all the girls were screaming. We opened up for them at a local venue in DC. We wanted to show them our dance routines that we did, that we created. And we were like former marching band and halftime show creators, right? So they wouldn't get off the bus. They were a little nervous, and it was a sketchy part of DC, so I don't blame them. But what we did was dance while they was on the bus. We performed, and they got a chance to watch us through the window. So the feedback from them seeing us and them loving what we did before they became the huge stars that you guys know them to be, told the road manager to allow us to have experiences like they do and have their tour bus for a small tour for us. And the road manager obliged us. So we went on a 6-city small tour on one of New Edition's tour buses. And it was just our band, class band and show, and everybody in DC know. Matter of fact, there's a band that encountered us that can really tell a story about that bus. And y'all know who y'all are too. So shout out to all my local DMV folks, all my brothers, all my sisters, all the bands still getting down, all the people telling me to get back out there, and all the people that's encouraging me to finally put out all my music, right? And stop bullshit, right? So shout out to y'all. Catch y'all, but before we go, I want y'all to check this out. This is something I've been working on, and I want y'all to check it out. It's like in transition. It's kind of like a marketing thing. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. All right, so appreciate it again. Yeah, again, this is behind the scenes. I'm really testing audio because I made a blunder earlier and had some double audio going on, and so I want to ensure that all the audio routing that I'm going to do with letting you guys hear the actual music coming from the SaXx, coming from some of my rack gear, because I have a very, very nice combo rack gear, and I want to do a video that exclusively talk about my Cranbone audio editions of my Carnaby 500 series and my new Brick Lane compressors. Oh, shout out to Cranborn Audio. You guys are fucking amazing, man. I swear I wish I could see some of the design engineering. You guys walk me through it. I've listened to you guys. I would love to one day get a tour of your facility and you guys just let me nerd out with you guys as you tell me how you came up with this fucking modal compressor, man, and all of the actual little features inside that make that thing. It's amazing. Shout out to y'all. I'll nerd out with y'all later on, but we're going to get to the music. And again, the SaXx Spot is going to be a fly on the wall, 15-20 minute session of me more or less just playing. If there's interest in areas where you guys want me to break that stuff down, right, then I will. I will show you some of my processes, me using the various DAWs. I use Pro Tools. I use Studio One. I use Bitwig. I have FL Studio. I experiment with a lot of different audio creation software because it's really software and it's like tools. You know, there's a lot of online discussion and battles about what is better. Is it Ableton? You know, is it Pro Tools? Pro Tools the dying breed? Is it, you know, you got BandLab out there right now, which is basically free. So more importantly, I see it as a creative process, right? I love the fact of the technology, which I'm being able to, you know, really take you guys through my personal journey because I'm a private person. It took me a long time to even consider sitting here talking to you guys, talking to a camera. But I know it may be someone on the other end that hears my message and maybe get motivated by something they hear or see. But I'm just an ordinary guy. I lost all my hair years ago. I'm great. I'm sitting here in my bucked up shirt because I got my gym right here, which reminds me to motivate. So I got a Marcy rack gym, which I'll show you guys right here in less than 10 feet. That reminds me to get up and go and do something with my physical body as I age, right? But the whole mind, creativity, the body, just life, and you know, having a symbiotic relationship with all those elements is important for me. So more important than money, we need it to survive, but more important than me going out to be some rock star. But shout out to Sade because I always wanted to be her smooth operator. And I have my rendition of my go-go version of that, a couple of them. And, you know, I'm going to have fun with those, but they're mostly just project things that I'm going to share. If we had to talk monetization down the road, it will have to do with creative arts. It will have to do with technology and helping people build hybrid studios and that kind of thing, right? Like, you know, I'm such a nerd when it comes to information technology and its ability to provide all the products and services in terms of electronic means that we need. And what we're doing with AI now, I'm not going to even touch it right now. But I'm in on this note. Again, shout out to you guys. And thanks for stopping by. Again, this is behind the scenes, a candid, you know, not trying to dress up. I barely shaved, you know. And you guys got to understand, I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to present myself as, you know, a guy that you guys know, right? Like somebody you know from school, somebody you know from, you know, the local church, somebody you know just hanging out, you know, maybe your colleague at work, because that's who I am, right? The stage performances and some of the things that could be under the lights and all of the, you know, the wonders of live stage performing is a show. You know, it's a great show. It's a great creative outlet. It's a great reward at the end of all the hard work and the late nights, but it's a show. This little lady here that just got up again is real life. So on that note, thanks for stopping by. Catch you guys soon.